you very much. Welcome to Punchline Africa television broadcasting all the way from the Dutch capital's city, The Hague, in Netherlands, right outside in the court in our mobile unit. We were watching live, and we are watching, screening live, the event that you will see in the few hours to come. The cases of Uganda and Kenya. Remember, Kenya has a case in this court today, and Uganda also has a case of Ms. General Ongwen, who was one of the LRA commanders, and he is also going to start his case today in this court outside us. There are not very many people being allowed to go inside, therefore we are reporting live from this location in our mobile units. Good morning, all of you in Kenya. Good morning, all of you across the continent of Africa. This is Punchline Africa television. The ICC cases in Africa have created quite a lot of difficulties, obstacles. But the ICC cases also have created something that people of Africa must learn from. The ICC cases also have made Africa become a dumping ground for international law. Are we witnessing another problem that we had before colonialism? Are we witnessing another problem that we had when people departed? Where is the African court? What has happened to the African court? What shall we do to have our own court so that our African brothers don't rely on external services for all this to go and shipped across? This morning, this show, Diplomatic Leaks, brings you live, and we shall cross over as soon as the court opens in another 20 minutes. We are waiting for the court to open, I think 10 o'clock. No, 10 o'clock of London time will be at 11 o'clock, Miriam. We have another 1 hour and 20 minutes to go through stage by stage for you for this case and both cases of Uganda, and we shall touch a bit of Uganda case, but we are concentrating on the Kenyan case, which is very, very significant, important. One, for the elections of the Republic of Kenya. Two, for people to know exactly what happened. Three, for these mafia people who actually daily buy witnesses, bump off witnesses, kill witnesses, tell witnesses, bribe witnesses, procure witnesses. Remember, we're Songa and Miriam, my colleagues right in the studio in Nairobi. I was called Mr. Procurement, procure, because of my English accent of Uganda. I brought the word procured. Witnesses were procured in Kenya. And today, I am now being vindicated. Again, Masanga always vindicated. I told people that people were buying witnesses. And the chief prosecutor told me I was telling a lie. Karim Khan then told me I was telling a lie. Can you see now? Can you see now? Whatever happens at this case, and whatever takes place at the moment, there is one situation that we have to see. And that one situation, believe me or not, there is always a big problem that is going to come. And that problem is very clear. That problem is, one, you like it, you don't like it, things are going to change. Somehow, this case is going to change things. Thank you very much. Let me go back to Nairobi for Miriam to bring us live with the newspaper headlines, and we concentrate on this story. Good morning. I am being Dr. David Matanga, the chief host of this show, and co-hosted by Miriam Ogutu, right from our senior anchor, right from Nairobi, the Republic of Kenya. Good morning, all of you.
Indeed, Doc, a very good morning to you and good morning to our viewers. Good afternoon, depending on where they're watching us today. So I'll just go through this very quickly. On the leading newspapers in Kenya this morning, the Star newspaper, the main headline, doctors blunder left my daughter blind, says Raila. The family has flown her to hospitals in Germany, South Africa, Israel, India, and China, but none has restored her vision. The story is on page 6. PS Kirill fails to appear in court after contracting coronavirus. That is on page 3. And D. Aruto pledges one term only if he breaks his word to Kenyans. The story is on page 4 and 5 on the Star newspaper. And then we turn our attention to the Daily Nation. And on the Daily Nation, making of allowed Mercy divorce. That is the main headline. And Magoha, no extra cash for CBC classroom contractors. And then man's 488-kilometer search for ICU ends in death. And then we turn our attention to the Standard newspaper. Envoys warning of free elections. So, sorry. Take
Yes.
over.
Okay, envoys warn. I believe Miriam was telling us that envoys were warning on a free fair elections. I've seen it somewhere online. Can the studios bring something online for me to read as Miriam takes some hot water? Envoys warn of free elections. And then we have, I've seen it somewhere. Okay, fine. I've seen it somewhere about the whole page of ICC, the sequences, the occurrences, what happened, where it happened, how the warrants were issued. Miriam will go through that with Mr. Daniel Wesonga, our in-house investigative journalist. And I believe today you have discovered something strange, that Miriam has been, Ruto has been dwindling and sinking every day. You see, there is a syndrome, I think, Wesonga, what is that syndrome called? There's a syndrome where a man tells lies and apparently becomes desperate at the end of the day. I've written it is cross something syndrome. So thank you very much. Let's go ahead. You can take over, Daniel, from there and, as Miriam comes back. But here the situation is the story of today. To our viewers, to those listening, to those watching us, the story is purely very, 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 very recruitive story for Kenyans to say, will it affect your elections? Is it going to affect the elections? It is up to you to make judgment. I am here, right in the heart of Europe, right in the frozen. That's why I can't open my windows. The weather is very bad, and therefore I would not dare to go out. I am in my European mobile unit, and we are safe away from Mr. Karim Khan. We are watching you, Mr. Karim Khan. It looks like, Miriam, this case could go down with Mr. Karim Khan. What do you think? First of all, take over from there. Then I was only keeping Wesonga busy before you come back to finish us. Yes.
Yeah, and I apologize for that. I had a bit of a choke there. Sorry. So, Doc,
you will eat meat. You will eat meat today.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been eating too much vegetables. All right. So accusations and counter-accusations about rigging claims prompt European ambassadors to hold high-level talks with top government officials, seeking assurance that polls will be fair. That is on page 4 on the Standard newspaper. And Egerton reopens under 6.1 billion Kenya shillings debt burden. And Valentine's pressure, the killer of romance. So that is what we have on the leading newspapers this morning.
Yeah, thank you very much. Let's start with that one on a lighter moment. A killer or romance. Yesterday was it? Isn't it? I mean, exactly. The summary is very good. Are we celebrating a killer or we are celebrating romance? How many people had the hemorrhage? Love hemorrhage, yeah, last night. So many people are in chaos. This morning, some of them are calling me for, unfortunately, my phone is outside Kenya. Oh, Dr. Matanga, can we have 5,000 pounds shillings I will return? Because yesterday they spent heavily, Miriam, and heavily. Was it for romance or for killers? A killer, Valentine, who killed people in Europe, and an African is very happy buying a full load of truck full, hiring a hotel. My father and my mother were happily married until dad left abruptly. Happily married. They produced me happily. They only told me one thing, to go to church. Every Sunday, I could not miss church, even if it means going to sleep there while the preacher is making his submissions, but I had to be in church. So that is the thing I grew up knowing, but not this thing that every African has followed everywhere. Commercialization. We have commercialized it. It brings in money, as Miriam said yesterday, but how much money is out of your pocket this morning? That's a question for the radio. Radio Punchline Africa is on, and I hope Panga Wapanga is bringing that news. The question is, Wapanga, I want to panga you this morning. The question you should ask, was it romance or murder? Thank you very much, Wesonga.
Thank you so much, Dr. Matsanga David. And of course, yesterday I saw whatever post that you put out there. And I believe most Kenyans, owing to the difficult economic times, ought to have known better that this was not a day that we should actually go beyond our own financial limits to be able to be spendthrift and extravagant in a certain way. And that is the similar thing that happens even during our Christmas celebration. You realize that people go overboard in spending. They become extravagant only for them to cry over in January that perhaps life is difficult and everything is not affordable. So to me, I believe if you are able to treat your loved one quite correctly for the rest of the year, or even in on a daily basis, then yesterday should not be a day where maybe perhaps you have to prove yourself. If you truly love the person that you are with, and if you truly treat them to dates and maybe buying them flowers then on any other day. So to me, I think the euphoria at times maybe could not have had maybe the best implications to those ones who were indulging yesterday. And perhaps, like you said, we're going to be looking at the hemorrhage that is the aftermath of the day that was yesterday. So to me, I don't give it so much essence, because at the end of the day, Miriam, I believe if you truly love your partner, if you truly know yourself and you give it all, then a single day couldn't be maybe a measure of maybe your love to your loved ones. But different people hold different opinions. But to me, I believe it's not such a special day. And owing to the fact that the day itself has a very, very deep meaning, you know, it was like Dr. Matsanga says, it is a day where someone killed the lover, you know, under unclear circumstances. So we should not just take some cultures and maybe run away with it. I understand that yesterday we must have had so many marriages breaking up. We must have had maybe relationships breaking up simply because someone did not buy another flowers. But this is of a small significance, Miriam, or maybe our viewers who are watching us this morning, because at the end of the day, love has to be on a long-term basis, not simply on a day, which maybe is 14th of February. So to me, I believe it has to be something solid more than maybe just the Valentine's Day and all that. So don't kill yourself, maybe trying to prove love. Don't kill your wallet trying to please somebody out of this. Remember, even if you want to celebrate Valentine's, you can do it maybe on a scale that is equal maybe to your pocket. And more so, also this could be an opportunity for even instead of buying flowers and going extravagant, It could be an opportunity for you to discuss about finances with your spouse and being able to align your stars in terms of deciphering things together and maybe being able to understand one another on the way forward and all that. So it could be in a constructive way, but nonetheless, Miriam, I maintain is not a do or die duel, Miriam. I submit.
Very well, thank you for that. And this main headline on the Standard newspaper, I think the recent political upheavals and the insults and the chaos that we've seen happening, the international community has been paying attention and have been watching this campaign season. And so the envoys met yesterday with CS Matiang'i, and they want to be assured that the polls will be free and fair. I don't know, where does this leave us as a country, Doc, and what perhaps can our politicians do differently so that we don't attract this unnecessary attention to our country, because we know this might affect so much. The people who are perhaps planning to come into Kenya starting, during their summer on holidays, they might not come because that is the time we'll be having our elections and the chaos. So how can our politicians conduct themselves in a manner that does not, affect our country?
Thank you very much, Miriam, for that question. And it's a very good question, a cardinal question. As much as we want these elections, as much as we are interested in these elections, as much as we want Kenya to have elections, first thing that I want to make categorically clear on this platform, and I've said it, you might like me, you might hate me. I'm now talking because it is not 2021, it is 2022. If I were a Kenyan, and let me repeat it the third time, Miriam, I've said it, if I were a Kenyan, I would not allow Mr. Chebukati and the group to handle my vote. This election is a mess, it's a complete mess. It's in a total shambles. All the directors are acting positions. Nobody there is in a full capacity. We are going into a very serious election without harmonizing the thoughts as Kenyans, without unity or purpose. Because one side of Kenya called Tanga went to the courts and dismantled something that Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta had brought and Raila Odinga to unite Kenyans, to heal, to reconcile, have accountability. Someone refused it. Miriam, it is coming to haunt you. And don't blame anybody. Don't blame any international community. These guys are also seeing exactly what is taking place. And it doesn't stop me as a person, an observer, as you rightly say. People want to come here during that time. Do you think people will come here? Our industry of tourism needs people. That is the time of tourists pouring into Kenya. But if we have signals of this nature, that there will be violence, insults, someone is saying, do I look like I'm a man whom a vote can be stolen from? Mtu anaweza kuiba kura yangu kweli? Do I look like? What does that mean? It means someone is prepared to go a long way to make sure that everything is done and make sure he wins. Is elections in Africa do or die, Miriam? Do people want to die? If you don't have this post, do you die? Why is Ruto fighting so hard to be the president of the Republic of Kenya? Does he die? He has millions and millions of shillings in his bank account, in dollars, foreign and other projects that he has done. And we talk about that, Miriam. Don't forget, Uganda Parliament now has tabled a motion. It is in the committee stages. They have tabled a motion to say Ruto conned the president that there was a factory of producing vaccines. It is written in black and white. You can look at Uganda papers and you will find there, they have written a whole page how Ruto and a businessman called Harun Eyadin conned President Museveni. And the President Museveni's minister has said the president was lied to, conned, and told that the factor of $984 million shillings. Almost 1 billion shilling was going to be, and they showed us the factory on Uganda television, how this factory has become, the stone has become bushy. So look at that. We have there's this situation going on in East Africa. And plus these elections, surely the diplomats were right. That is one strand. But let me come back to our African countries. Let me balance the equation. In Europe, how many Africans leave Africa to go and observe elections in Europe? Can anybody here on the platform, on the chat, tell me how many Africans fly into United Kingdom to observe United Kingdom elections? Or fly into Netherlands here and say we are doing elections in the Netherlands? How many? How many of these? How many? We don't have them. But people from Europe come to observe our elections. People from Europe give us instructions on how we should conduct our elections. Why have we allowed ourselves to that level? We borrow their money. Miriam, are you convinced that a country like the Democratic Republic of Congo has no money? Are you convinced that Africa has no money to hold the elections? Can you be convinced that Nigeria, a country with a big population of 200 million people, with 84 to 100 million voters, has no money to hold an election? Why should Nigeria go and borrow money when they have corruptly eaten the money? That is the tragedy of Africa. That's why you see diplomats coming to query you. They must have a report of their money they have given you. So in your question, in answering it, you are right. It is time for tourists to return to Kenya. And it is that time and moment. Me, if I were the president of the Republic of Kenya, I would ask the parliament to extend these elections after that, because the industry is recovering. The industry is just recovering. It has just recovered, Miriam, from COVID-19. And then you are bringing in an election, a badly organized election, where servers of 2017 have not been opened. An election where people have gone to Supreme Court. The order of the Supreme Court has not been told. An election where Chebukati is still asking for money. An election where our printing papers were printed in Greece by friends of William Ruto. An election that is not for me, David Matsanga, and I'm telling every Kenyan to listen to me. You are just laying a bad background for a very dangerous route. This will be no election. This election will be contested. Both people who are going on the ballot are not people who accept results easily. It is historical. You must know Ruto does not accept results. It is historical. You know very well Raila Odinga equally does not accept results. So the best thing Kenya can do today and Africa can do today, if they accept to do elections. Miriam, for me, I don't believe Africa is ready for elections. Sorry. African countries are not ready for elections. How do you feel in Nigeria? Do you elect someone who's going to beat you up? How do you feel to pay your money for you to be beaten up? Isn't it what we are doing, Daniel and Miriam? We are giving Chebukati money so that in August, we start running with tear gas. So are we stupid? Which world planet we came from now? Which planet are we, Venus or Mars? Where oxygen is only being discovered now. So there is that problem of that election in Kenya. The envoys are right. I think our viewers are waiting for us to move on the subject of ICC, and we break it down But if you have a comment, make the comment, Daniel, briefly. Back to
Yes.
you in the studio. Back to Miriam in the studio, then she can give you permission, sir.
Go ahead, Daniel, on that headline on the Standard newspaper this morning, where Envoy is now warning on free elections.
Thank you so much, Miriam. And the writing, of course, is indeed on the wall. And if you are not seeing it, then we must as well be caught by surprise, because all signs have been actually projecting the reality that IBC is not ready to hold free, fair, and credible elections. Remember, yesterday we were discussing the issue of using Huduma number. And the Kenyan voter register that we are having today actually is from 1997. Which means the dead voters and redundant data has never been cleared off the register. Whatever the IBC or maybe this, the previous commissions have been doing was just piling up data more and more and more. So it means even when they go to do voter verification, it doesn't really matter because we have people who have been registered data from as old as 1997. So it really brings a very, very cumbersome position, a big confusion in terms of handling data in that we do not have an audit of whatever is in the voter register of the IEBC. Dr. Matsanga David has talked about our Wafula Chebukati complaining about more funds, and also you realize that we do have a court in case where IEBC had actually been accused of illegally conducting elections because it did not have the quorum. So these are commission which is bedeviled by legal matters. These are commission that actually lacks integrity because there is a court ruling that has yet to be adhered to by Wafula Chebukati and his commission. So to me, I believe, Miriam, it will be very, very unwise for us to continue and proceed with these elections with all those problems back in the closet of IEBC, because that is a recipe for chaos, like Dr. Matsanga said. And if we do not check it, then we will have as well given up on our country come the August 9th of 2022. I submit.
All right, and so we go to our main topic of today, and the trial in the case of the prosecutor versus Paul Gisheru is scheduled to open today, the 15th of February 2022 at 9:30 the Hague local time before trial chamber 3, composed of Judge Miata Maria Samba. Mr. Gisheru is accused of offenses against the administration of justice consisting of corruptly influencing witnesses regarding cases from the situation in Kenya. The hearing for the opening statements of the prosecution are scheduled today, and the defense has decided not to present any statements at this point of the proceedings. Mr. Gisheru is expected to attend the opening of this trial. The first prosecution witness will also be heard on the same day due to the current situation linked to COVID-19. Some of the hearings participants will take part via video link. And just a bit of a background of Gisheru's case. On 2nd November 2020, Paul Gisheru surrendered to the authorities of the Netherlands pursuant to ICC arrest warrant issued under seal on 10th March 2015 and unsealed on 10th September 2015. On 3rd November 2020, Paul Gisheru was surrendered to the ICC custody after the completion of the necessary national proceedings. His first appearance before the court took place on 6th November 2020. And on 1st February 2021, he was released to Kenya with specific conditions restricting liberty. And on 15th July 2021, ICC pre-trial chamber confirmed the charges of offenses against the administration of justice brought by the prosecutor against Paul Gisheru and committed him to trial. And of course, the hearing can be followed, at the ICC website for those who will be reading, but also we shall be transmitted here. So that is just a bit of a background on what we're expecting today and what has been happening in regards to this case, the Kenyan case.
Miriam, yes. Can I give you more details? Yes, as you said, exactly at 10 o'clock, the streaming of this case live from here in The Hague via Punchline Africa television will be taking place. And 2, as you said, this is an act against Article 70. Article 70 of the Rome Statute is very clear. Article 70 talks about obstruction of justice, tampering of witnesses, perversion to pervert the course of justice, to bribe, to corruptly engage in malpractices. You are not committing a case against any of the people or of the state. You are now committing a case against the ICC court, International Criminal Court. You are now committing acts of bad manners by killing witnesses, by locating witnesses, by bribing witnesses. So they will bring you under the hammer. And let's be very frank and tell our people listening to us that if they bring you to the hammer, and you remember, Miriam, now there is a new word that has arrived in this case. And that new word, I don't know whether you are hearing me properly. Are you?
Yes, yes.
So you are hearing me now? Yeah, there is a new word, Miriam, which has been brought in this case. And that new word is the big man. Have you noticed that? They are looking for a big man. The ICC themselves is on the writing in their documents that I have here. They're a big man. They are looking for a big man. The man, the mafia of Sicily, the commander who commanded, who had a scheme. Of course, you know why Paul Tijeru is not making a statement. Do you know why? Let me explain to our viewers. He can't make a statement because the first witness, OP, or witness OTP number 0795, that witness was physically with Mr. Gicheru, and it is going to come in a few minutes. We are going to see it, Miriam. So he can't make any mess. He cannot even try to say, I don't know. He can't say, how do you see? To me, can I predict something for you and Wesonga? Do you know where the thing is going to end? Why Gicheru does not want to make a statement? I think Gicheru is going to cut this journey short. Can I leave it there for me? And that's what I think. Because I have never seen a defense lawyer on the opening day saying, I will not make a statement. I've watched so many international cases, but I've never seen a defense lawyer saying, I am not going to make any case or make a statement to court to tell the court my client is healthy, he has been eating some sausages in a hotel somewhere. But he had decided, because he just want to bring, if we are talking about an earthquake, Miriam, because you Kenyans are now earthquake products. There is an earthquake here. The waves are forming. And these waves might take the chief prosecutor. But let me give Wesonga some time, then I come to the second stage. I give you time also to make your own contribution and observations on the ground. The case is a shadowway operator is what the ICC is looking for. Mark the English word shadowway. The man who lacks that person, the big man. They're in the papers, it's not Matsanga writing them. Stuart has filed the papers, said they were looking for this big man who was, bidding for witnesses, eliminating witnesses, locating witnesses, tampering with witnesses, bribing witnesses, on whose behalf. So if Mr. Gicheru is found guilty, Mr. Gicheru will be automatically saying it is there, the witness is right. Therefore, the case number 1 of Kenya is automatically open. That's it. the court could decide to do two things. The court could decide to do automatic opening of case number 1 or issue a warrant of arrest for anybody again who has been mentioned by Gicheru. Basing on this medium on the Pierre Bemba's case, when Pierre Bemba's lawyer arrived in court, he was very innocent. But when he left the court, he was a convict. He came to represent his client. He ended up eating the same food with the client in the cells. This case could also bring in Karim Khan, could end up in the cells because there was a very serious plot. He knew, he said there was nothing of this nature. So should this case come to a conclusion and say, no, and Gicheru says, yes, I'm guilty. I was being paid money because I don't have a farm which makes 200 million shillings. I can't account for my earnings that form 200 million shillings that he had at disposal to kill witnesses and to make them recant. He has to show the source of money, where it came from. Another point that Kenyans must know is a very dangerous point. And I asked Professor P.L.O. Lumumba this morning, Professor, did you really teach law at law school in Karen? How can a lawyer of high respect arrive with his mobile phone loaded with the equipment of his laptop and going to jail and telling the Netherlands police that I brought this as exhibit? Unless you have been bewitched or you have been unakuwa kwa dawa ya enugu. It may be you are on enugu medicine that they bewitched you that morning. Mr. Gicheru went with his phone, which he has been using since 2007. And all the records of Mr. Gicheru are in the phone. You remember the chief prosecutor, Fatou Bensouda, the former chief prosecutor, successfully asked for the telephone and the laptop from the Netherlands police to be handed over to the court. They took all exhibits. The laptop had discs. This is a case done. Medium is a case done. You can go to Jerusalem and seek repentance and ask God that I'm in the church and I'm waiting. But like the other man said yesterday on our show, that when you reach hell, ask God that don't burn me twice. I've been burning on African continent. I submit, Miriam.
Daniel Wasonga.
Thank you so much, Miriam. And of course, today is a very, very big day for the people of Kenya. Not in essence that we have something national happening, but because the ICC court case against lawyer Paul Gicheru is actually beginning. The trial is beginning, and the implication of that particular case perhaps is what has taken even Dr. Matsanga to the Hague in the Netherlands, because this case has a big implication on the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. Remember what Dr. Matsanga has just said. Yesterday, while watching news, I also heard them talking about the big man who is not mentioned by name, who really wanted no stone unturned and actually gave orders to either bribe the witnesses or actually annihilate those who did not to the or maybe read go by the book. So to me, I believe all these now is going to be a tell-it-all perhaps show, where now the witnesses who are lined up maybe against the Gicheru or maybe for Gicheru are going to tell the court of how this bribery happened. Some I hear they were given government jobs, some were given monies, and some are actually killed, those who refused to take bribes. And therefore, at the end of it all, if I were William Ruto or Joshua Arap Sang, I would be a very, very worried man, because it only happens that Paul Gicheru is only standing on the path to justice, and that is why he's at the Hague today. once they are able to ascertain who lawyer Paul Gisheru was working for, then they are gonna put lawyer Paul Gisheru aside. Maybe like Dr. Masanga told us a few years ago that he could become a friend of the court and the prosecution witness, and with that he might get some amnesty, or maybe get a very, very lesser penalty for interfering with witnesses. But whoever the ICC is interested in is the person who, for the first maybe appearance, was at the ICC for the crimes against humanity, and whose case has been vacated because they lacked sufficient evidence, and also the witnesses had been tampered with. So to me, I believe William Ruto and Joshua Arap Sang should actually be worried people when this case begins today, because if Paul Gisheru is found guilty, it will be akin to William Ruto being found guilty of witnesses interference. And as Dr. Masanga said, you could be walking in Dubai or in the Netherlands, or maybe in Brussels, Belgium, and then a warrant of arrest is issued against you, and before you know it, the Interpol on your case, you are arrested and hauled all the way to the Hague to answer those charges of witness bribery, and thereafter the crimes against humanity that you had initially been charged with. So I believe it's a very, very big matter, and it might perhaps, just perhaps, Miriam, it might maybe interfere with the Kenyan political landscape. Let's say, for example, if William Ruto is issued with an arrest warrant, like Dr. Masanga said some other time, is that there's a difference between being summoned and being issued with an arrest warrant. So if you are issued with an arrest warrant, it means you are actually a criminal in the league of Joseph Kony, or maybe those ones who have been arrested before. So it means you have a criminal case on your neck, and therefore you have to, first of all, to clear your name before now you are released and even allowed to contest for an election in your home country. So it will actually affect the elections, and also the presidential elections, if that goes to the case goes to that particular extent. So it is really, really a very, very maybe a day of reckoning for William Samoei Ruto and Joshua Arap Sang for their case in the ICC. Remember, this is a case which was vacated, not terminated, like the rest of the other people who are co-accused against William Ruto and Joshua Arap Sang. So let them watch out. Let Kenyans watch out. By the end of the day, Miriam, we anticipate that justice will be served. Both Kenyans who were burnt in church in Kiamba, who were evicted from their homes in 2007, 2008, those who were raped, those who were killed, and even the witnesses also who were killed by the team that was actually being, which was bribing witnesses for under the orders, or maybe on the behest of these big man. And we will really want to know who this big man is, Miriam, today. I submit.
All right, very well. And outside of this, we also do know that there is a case involving warlord Dominic Ongwen, the child soldier, still at the ICC, the appeal case. And yesterday, Ugandan former warlord Dominic Ongwen, through his lawyers, the case was heard by the appeal chamber of the International Criminal Court. The appeals chamber of the International Criminal Court had the case. The defense appeals against the verdict and sentences. Dominic Ongwen was convicted in May 2021. He was a commander of the guerrilla group called Lord's Resistance Army. He was sentenced to 25 years of imprisonment for murder, rape, and sexual enslavement. Ongwen's lawyers have raised 90 grounds of appeal against the verdict and about 10 against the sentence, citing legal, factual, and procedural errors by the court. The ICC said in a statement the appeal brought against the conviction was the largest ever considered by the chamber. So when yesterday appeal the judgment that was made sometimes back last year.
Thank you very much. I will not talk much about this case because first I took part in the negotiations. But I will talk frankly and proudly as a person who made peace possible, as a person who said they sit on table, let's avoid the route of ICC. I'll talk about this case because politically, all the people, the commanders were given the chance to come on table. Those who agreed, I returned them home. And I'm proud. I'm a very proud guy today, talking to you on here, that I managed. And I want to thank President Museveni. I want to thank the people of South Sudan, President Salva Kiir, President, Deputy President or Vice President Riek Machar, President Chisano, President Kibaki, President Kikwete, President of South Africa by then was Thabo Mbeki, and others, Ruakana Rugunda, my co-chairman of the peace talks. I was a leader of the negotiating team for the rebels, and I negotiated successfully a peace accord, which has given Uganda the peace that we see today in northern Uganda. The commanders who returned to Uganda on this case, Miriam, were given amnesty, a legal and constitutional amnesty. Uganda is the only country on the continent of Africa, with second to South Africa, that introduced amnesty article, which introduced amnesty. It's legal in the Constitution of Republic of Uganda to get that amnesty. Once the government, the judges clear you, that is it. That is the end of it. It's a constitutional matter. Nobody can come and remove your even 1 inch and say you still have a problem, because Uganda went back to 1980s when all the rebel activities were there, and they cleared everybody. So you come out, what is the Amnesty Act? What does it say? The law is in the Constitution. The law says, if you are in the amnesty, you report to the embassy. And when you report to the embassy, in the embassy, or you report anywhere where the Uganda embassy is, or the High Court, or the church, they put the gazetted areas and then declared before the judge. They will take all your details and go back to Uganda, and the judge comes with your certificate of amnesty. 120,000 LRA commanders, combatants, returned with their families. They are settled since 2008. There has never been a war in Uganda. There's never been anything in Uganda that can force a war again, except if Ugandans start their own war. That is a different thing. So Ongwen found himself that he wanted actually to leave, because you remember Ongwen, Commander Ongwen was captured when he was very young. At the age of about 11 or 10, he was told to kill. If you don't come with the head, you are also killed. So Ongwen, the court, the lower court might have not seen that gravity, that a younger girl, a younger man, given a gun, told to go to the bush. And then if you don't come with 2 heads, or you don't come and say, I killed 200, or 50 or 10, you are also shot. So those are some of the grounds that I've seen here, which the defense lawyer, Ayena, my friend Ayena, we did the same delegates conference, to peace talks together. Ayena is very conversant, and we hammered the peace agreement, Agenda 5, which means you return home, you do reconciliation, a strategy called redemption strategy. Miriam, this is where I got the redemption strategy, which I've been telling Kenyans from time to time to have it. People who slaughtered, who raped, who killed, came back to Acholi land, and they did what we call matoput. I don't know in Luo, you know what matoput is. Matoput. You jump the egg, and then pay reparations to the family. The government assisted the rebels to buy cows, to pay to the other families. And that reconciliation has worked in northern Uganda. It has worked, Miriam, miraculously. I can't believe it. Even myself at that moment, I doubted it. As a chief negotiator and the leader of the delegation, negotiating peace with the government of Uganda, I was scared. I was skeptical about the process. But later on, Miriam, it worked. How did Ongwen find himself in court? He did find himself in court because he did not agree. He did not come. He wanted to jump and come with, I remember one time he wanted to climb our helicopter. This guy as a woman and climb our helicopter and come out with us on one of the occasions that we went deep in the DRC Congo, in the Rukwamba, to meet them with Konyi and others. We met them about 12 times. And the 13th time was to go on 18th for the final signature, which I had obtained. I had obtained President Museveni's signature, and I was now going to obtain General Konyi's signature in Rukwamba in Garamba Park. But the Americans, as usual, they rushed Miriam. They sent tomahawks from the Red Sea port of Djibouti. They came running. They came making noise all the way past through Khartoum, plus through Addis Ababa. They through all these parts of northern Kenya, and they landed in DRC Congo, thinking they were hitting Konyi. Yet Konyi was very clever. He had left a phone, the satellite phone, which was used, is a satellite phone. He left it in a location 50 miles away, but he was already gone away. Up to today, the commanders, some of them have died. Only 2 people have remained. That is Ongwen, whom was captured later on after the certificate of amnesty. The law was 1 year. You were given 1 year to surrender anywhere. If you had been in a political position, you are told to go to the embassy and renounce and say, I am not part of anything against the government. The parliament passed it. So it has never been changed. It's a law, but it gave time limits when you should have that certificate. If you don't have it, then if you are captured, you are taken to the ICC. Because most of our viewers might ask, why is it that Uganda at one side does not support ICC, but one side there is somebody in the ICC? President Museveni does not support ICC at all. But Ongwen was captured in another territory after he had not taken the amnesty, which expired while he was in another territory in the Central African Republic. That is the case which is inside here. The 90 grounds are very strong. One of the strongest grounds is, which the court will look at, was Ongwen killing willingly at that time. Because, Miriam, can I tell you one thing of what interests me with international courts is there is no new case of 2007 or 2008 or 2004 which Ongwen is charged with. This is where the courts become very sweet. And when your case goes to appeal chamber number 5, say hallelujah, you are very happy. The grounds are very clear. All the charges on Mr. Ongwen are in 1990, 92, 93, 94, 95, when Ongwen was 11 years old. You get my point, ma'am? So what will you judge him is diminished returns. Have you seen how things fall like a pork cuts? Diminished returns, which the people do not want to see. And what? The worst part of it, I don't want to say it here because the Uganda government, we agreed that we leave it out forever, but it will come out. Is there another side which is also on trial? Miriam, is there another side which is on trial? Lawyers are here. I have not gone there. I am hidden somewhere in my car. And I'm happy outside. Things, let them take shape. Is there another side which should have been on trial? And have you seen the whole problem? When you do something, you steal completely. But don't steal halfway and leave some marks. This case is now showing marks on when his case is going to open up a Pandora box, not only in ICC, but all what Matsanga has been saying about ICC, that is a corrupt court. And by the way, Kenyans who are listening to me and the Ugandans, I want to tell you, I oppose that court. I oppose. That's what I told him basically, that don't waste your time taking the case that you are signing signatures to take Museveni to the International Criminal Court. Who tells you that that is going to happen? Who tells you? Who tells you? Who tells you? Who will charge him? Already he is already in the Kampala court. Uganda has domesticated. Uganda has 3 judges. If you are arrested now, if you capture Kony and bring him to Uganda, he will be fairly tried, and maybe even Museveni will give you pardon. Do you know that? Yes. Yeah, I can name you the commanders. One of them was just died recently. All those commanders you see, Lokech and others. Ma'am, these are commanders of the Lord Resistance Army. You hear me? These are the younger men that I brought from the forest. Some of them, I brought them back to be integrated in the UPDF. Hundreds of thousands of them. They have been allowed, they are earning salary, they are building big houses, they are running petrol stations, they are doing a life. That is what I fought for, to have northern Uganda and northern Uganda, my Luo people, to have peace, dignity, and live in dignity. That is all. I've done my best. I did my best. I spoke. I said, don't kill all of them because they are Luo. Don't kill all of them because they are black. Kill them when they have made a mistake. And that was my legacy. I said, don't. People hated me, but today, the president of Uganda earns votes. You know how many votes? Museveni got 99%. Miriam and Wesonga, 99% from northern Uganda, the votes. It voted the National Resistance Army Organization Party of President Museveni. Isn't that something good that I did for that country? I did it. At that time, I was loved. I was called names. I was told so many things. But here I am. I'm happy. I have a legacy. But why I'm watching this case is the case shows the international disparities in law. You are now taking one side that you are putting on trial. Yet in Yugoslavia, you put all the sides on trial, Miriam. Look at that angle. The people of Serbia, the people of Yugoslavia, Serbia, Bosnia Herzegovina, all these places, Slovakia, all these places, not Slovakia, all the bad Montenegro, all these places, Albania, you know, look at that, the former Yugoslavia, all of them, some of them went to Yugoslavian tribunal. Why in Africa, we only took one side? Wasn't it the same case with Kenya? The pattern was a pattern of deceit, corruption. They bought witnesses. Now the case is being heard. What does the chief prosecutor, wherever you are seated, former chief prosecutors, think of Matanga? Do they think that I hope they know that I'm a prophet, not related to Elijah or Elisha, but Mungo wa Kibiro. I saw like a tiger, a giraffe. We saw that the tall animal in Mara is the giraffe, or call it whatever you call. The one with a tall neck. I saw far. I told the people that this court is very fake. Some people said, no, there was no witness buying. Now, the same court is trying witness buying today. In 2007, when I raised this issue, medium people called me, I am looking for money from Kenya. Sasa wa Kenya tuulizane. Those Kenyans watching me, am I not a proud man here? Look at me. I told you that this court buys witnesses. Now, the same year, 2022, they are trying a witness buyer. So Matanga was wrong. Give me my credit. Give me my credit. If you want to contribute to this debate, before we still have some time, before we come to the main show, which is about to open at around top of the hour, you can call us +254 795 638 145 in Nairobi. The phone will be heard in Nairobi, and we shall hear you from wherever I am. Call and say what you want to say about the cases, both cases of Uganda and Kenya, but the Kenyan one is the most important case that we are watching because it might affect elections. That's one of the points that I wanted to make. The second point was, could the chief prosecutor of the International Criminal Court become collateral damage? Miriam, I leave it to you. Could he become collateral damage? You never know. He was part of the, go ahead.
Indeed, and right now, him being the chief prosecutor of the ICC, and if indeed, the case is proved that beyond reasonable doubt that, there was tampering with the witnesses, and yet he was one of the key lawyers of Deputy President William Ruto, so it will be assumed that he knew what was happening even during this tampering, so that will really dent his credibility and his position that he has right now at the ICC. That will be it will not be good for the court. So I don't know. Now perhaps he should start worrying about his future at being the chief prosecutor at the ICC. I don't see how this case will continue and his name will not be brought up.
You are right. You can't be a headmaster of a senior secondary school and fail to know what is happening in the classrooms.
It will be hard for him to prove that he had no knowledge that there was witness tampering if this case is proved.
One of the witnesses could say that at one point they met Karim. No, look at the scenario. He can say we met Ruto's lawyer with Mr. Actually, especially witness 070 P073, that one, 0073. the one who recanted, whom the ICC wants so much, and it's asking the Kenyan government to get him to go on video. Maybe he's naming the prosecutor. So don't quote me, I am off. I want to drink some coffee. Medium, don't quote me. I am on the, maybe, I am telling you, when you tell some people here, they think it's a lie. OTP 0073, the one being looked for, is the one who has a key, whom people, if that key is opened, we are done. It's done, finito. Warrant of arrest, pop, even the chief prosecutor, Karim Khan, pop, all of them go down. Colado, what is it called? Collateral damage. I'm learning some words. Did you know that? And I don't know. Television is in Nairobi. I don't know who are their analysts. I hope they will not bring people like by Cherot, Senator Cherot, a younger student leader who just was given a seat in Kericho. Is also saying he knows something. When he wears a suit, he bulks like he knows the material in his head. Such are people who should not come on national television. Look for seasoned people who know what the international law and what is happening there, Miriam. It is very risky that we might lose the chief prosecutor, a British national, if that witness comes and says, by the way, do you remember we were together in the office of Mr. The song, I'll take it over from there. We are together in the office of Mr. Gicheru. Do you remember we met Mr. Gicheru with you in the office when you are doing? Of course, there was no way the chief prosecutor of the lawyer of Ruto could fail to know the type of case he was handling. The song.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Masanga David. And for those ones, even here in Kenya, who have been through the corridors of justice, they know the big role that the lawyers actually play, even in reaching out on the other side of the court to just get maybe the aggrieved parties to actually settle the matter out of court. So before even maybe witnesses could start being interfered with in terms of bribery and all that, the lead counsel of William Ruto perhaps would have had a hand in it. The likes of Gicheru were actually just used for the convenience that they are local people and they could actually communicate quite well with the witnesses, maybe in whichever language, local language and all that. But the backstops are the lead counsel, and that is Karim Khan. I was much privileged in the morning to read about your article about the cases in Kenya and Uganda. And I agree with you that if at all this particular case will be able to punch loopholes in the maybe stature of Karim Khan and the integrity of him as maybe a former lawyer to William Ruto and the current ICC prosecutor, then he will be left with no option other than resigning, because it will have been proven beyond any reasonable doubt that as a lawyer in a matter before ICC, he was indulged in a malpractice of bribing witnesses, interfering with the cases, and actually causing, to an extent, causing death of some of the witnesses who did not oblige to the bribery and the intimidation that was happening at that particular time. So today is the beginning of all battles that I believe, if they are not ready for it, then it's going to take its casualties, starting with the Karim Khan all the way to William Ruto and Joshua Arap Sang. We might have a scenario where the chief prosecutor is forced to resign, and also William Ruto and Joshua Arap Sang are issued with arrest warrants if these can be proven beyond reasonable doubt that indeed witness tampering, interference, and killing actually happened under their noses. So to me, Dr. Masanga, that is what I preempt. Nonetheless, this was a matter which would have not have happened if at all we would have followed the route of establishing a special Court of Justice for Africa as directed by President Uhuru Kenyatta and other African leaders. But this is a matter which was not given eminence between the political discussions, and even the deputy president. I never saw him actually taking the forefront in actually having this dream of independent African Court of Justice being established in this particular continent. So let them have their own field at IECC today, and let them feel the repercussions of whatever they did. They did a shoddy job in handling witnesses. They did a shoddy job in pulling out of ICC, and now the ghosts of ICC have come back to haunt them. And not unless the matter is settled with a finality, it will keep on popping up even after this year and so many years to come. Miriam, I submit.
Mm-hmm. And just to add to what you've just said there, and I think what Dr. also said a bit earlier, Karim Khan being at the position that he has as the chief prosecutor of the International Criminal Court, one would assume that perhaps he does have some level of influence. So people start wondering at the level of influence he has with the position that he holds, how can that influence the outcome of this case? Because at the end of the day, like we've all alluded, it's very difficult. It will be his word against the case. It will be hard for him to prove that he was not aware that witnesses were being tampered with in the case that he was the lead counsel. And on top of that, of course, conflict of interest is very evident here. So could this case be a career ending to Mr. Karim Khan at the ICC? And has it dented his credibility of even holding that position at the International Criminal Court? Doug.
Thank you. You have hit the point, the nail on the head. If I were Karim Khan, I would have just walked away immediately. Ruto's Gicheru case was brought. Unless a miracle happens, the people pursuing that justice will go to the appeal chamber, and the people are going to now begin to file applications to ask whether the chief prosecutor knew there was a racket, yes or no. I am one of those going to file an application, and I've already given 7 days. I wrote to the chief prosecutor asking him, who is this telling the witnesses the whereabouts, showing their locations? Who is giving that information? It is up to the chief prosecutor to say, I don't know. But then who has the files of the witnesses? Did he know about the witnesses? There are so many questions. And international organizations like Human Rights, Amnesty International, the organization that surround the ICC, I bet they are not sleeping now. Believe me or not, you can take this to the bank. They are not sleeping. They have been disturbed on Kenyan case. They want someone on Kenyan case inside there. They want, the blood is still hot. Therefore, Karim Khan can do nothing. A commission of inquiry is going to could be set independently, which could say he was involved. Imagine one of the witnesses comes to say, yes, on that day we saw Karim Khan with Gicheru. Any slight saying that they were together. That's it, the end of it. But you know, as usual.
And Doc, they were together because they were working together to help one person. So there's no way he can absolve himself from this. They had to be together because they were working as a team.
You see, when you cheat people and they cheat the whole world because of money, that's where you end. Yeah, I don't want to tell you how I was cheated, but it is God who pays slowly. Miriam, I think you will say that all things of my boss Matsanga ends in a tragedy. I am always cheated because I'm very good at it. My heart is so good, you know. Allah. We did this whole case of Mutaura. These guys ran away with all the money. They were paid. I was paid nothing. I did all these things of Sururu 68 for Ruto. He never gave me a penny. He paid Omar Hassan. Omar is doing so many building apartments in Mombasa. like a fish is being collected from water. Moses Kuria, he has eaten Ruto's man until he breaks his legs. Now he's in hospital somewhere. You see, but Ruto never came to say, Matsanga, my brother, you are from another country. Thank you very much. You came to save us. I've become his enemy of the lips. When he looks at me, I think if he found me on the streets of Nairobi at night, I don't know where I will be. But Miriam, that is how God, you know, God has ways, currencies of working. He works in different ways. They have now reached the top there. They have found a roadblock. Where's the roadblock? One of the witnesses, maybe perhaps that's why this other last witness, 0073, you remember, was told don't appear because he could spill the beans. You hear me? They have told him, don't spill the beans. And I think the government, there is another aspect, as we have a few minutes. There is another aspect in which the government of Kenya must watch out. The aspect of Kenya, and I think, Miriam, we need to discuss this. The aspect of Kenya being accused or reported to the UN Security Council when President Uhuru Kenyatta is still the member of the UN Security Council is not very good. Kenya should have quit this organization called ICC long time ago. I don't know why they stuck there. Article 127 of the Roma Statute is very clear. When the marriage is sour, you prepare an exit. If you are sleeping in a bedroom, try to find another bedroom somewhere in another place. Burundi did it very well, and the Burundi now is well respected by international community. Miriam, that's where we are. That's where we are. I don't know why Kenya stuck there. 5 years ago, I went to the court in Kenya. I wanted to destroy all wacky fake witnesses because I saw it as a giraffe, long neck. I saw this was going to come in 2022. Is it not here? Ruto was the first man to oppose me. That Ruto, he sent Mr. Arosei, the lawyer Arosei, that man, he calls me that man. I don't know what that man did to him. I helped him. He would be actually freezing here. So what did that man do? I went and fought for Rule 68. We were arrested because they said we had molested Mrs. Gladwell Otieno. One of my friends who was with me, I was tearing the t-shirt. My friend was going for some other things, you know, Sankok. We are all dumped into a police cell in Netherlands, here. So you can see, Miriam, for the sake of Ruto, I did not go there on another occasion and fight and I'm dumped in the cells. I'd been going there, but the man never came to say thank you. So let his followers who are watching and listening and who will get this step, walaye Mungu ndio huyo. Hapa hii mambo ya dunia tunamalizani hapa. Malipo iko hapa. The ICC is looking for shadow way, big man who gave the money. So if that man appears somewhere in the shadows, in Atlantic Ocean, they will get him. Or he appears in... Miriam, there is a lot. By the way, Miriam, when you look at some of the things, in Kenya, don't they worry you that what type of government you will be under if Ruto won elections. Do we make mistakes ourselves? Kipsang, the current minister of water, PS for water, you see how he has cleared the Emerald and the Kimeroro Dam? Kimeroro and Aroro Dam. Have you seen how the matter has ended? Did you see it on your newspaper? Look at it. Look at that section. Have you seen how they have said now it has ended? And the Ruto was in Milan where this man of the dam who took the dam money was. Immediately the PS says the bank has paid. Have you seen? How does a bank pay? It calls for a new investigation. How does a bank pay something that has never been, surely, that has never been accomplished? Do banks in Africa pay for things that were deliberately done? Money stolen in a bank, an insurance company pays you when you left the money, and they have told you to keep the money in a safe. Miriam. Genuinely, those are the questions. And it is coming up 2 minutes to the top of the hour. Our engineers should get ready the signal. We are sending it from here. Stephen, get the signal. They said it will start at 10 o'clock East African Standard Time, which is now 11, which is 11 o'clock coming to, yeah, it's exactly 10 o'clock here, and it is 11 o'clock in Nairobi. I think so. Am I correct? Is it 2 hours or 1 hour? Yes. It's 11 is 10. Yes, it's about, yes. The time in the Hague is 11. It's not 11. Yeah. So there you are. We are 1 hour. And there we are. We can start. So Miriam Wesonga, your final thoughts about this, because we shall later on, just in when we have listened to the witness, Miriam, maybe we could come back later after hours of listening to their discussion, and when we pick the first field, we can come back later. But if you have any comments before if the studio is ready to take us, to bring us to the Hague, to pick this signal from here now, are you ready? If not ready, we're going to make your comments.
Thank you so much, Dr. Matsanga David. And of course, just like many more other Kenyans who are watching this from here in Nairobi, I'm just going to be looking out for the unfolding of events. I believe now today the can of worms of whatever happened to the witnesses and whatever happened in the shadows and that led to the vacation of the William Ruto Joshua Rapsang case is going to be laid bare to the whole world to see. And this does not come maybe perhaps without the implications on the on William Ruto as a person, Joshua Rapsang, and more specifically also to the political landscape of Kenya. So it will be a very, very tense moment for those ones who it affects. And therefore, I'll just be waiting here and see whatever that comes out of that particular hearing today that is supposed to happen in the few minutes to come.
Yeah. It has not yet started, so we can, Miriam, do we take a break and or we do one other topic? Sabina Chege is at the IEBC right now. Studio, I can see something, international wires saying Sabina Chege with a group of lawyers like 10 is in the IEBC. Can we talk about that? Is it possible? Is it necessary to summon only Sabina Chege? And then there's one thing I wanted to ask you, which I had forgotten, Miriam. If the servers of 2017 are not open, a Supreme Court of our land called Kenya made a ruling. And Mr. Wafula Chebukati has never come back to court to tell them whether it has been opened or not. And the one Kenyan has gone to court to stop this election. What do you think the ramifications will be? Anybody can answer.
I think that is a question that we've been trying to find out here, because so far the Kenyan has not gone to the Supreme Court. He had filed this case at some lower courts, and they were told, they're not the ones who heard this case, and they're not the one who gave this determination, and perhaps he was advised to go to the Supreme Court, so he hasn't. So in the event that he decides to take this matter to the Supreme Court, then that will place us in a constitutional quagmire.
I think Miriam has gone. He's there.
To the Supreme Court?
Yes, he's there.
Okay.
He's asking why Chebukati should be allowed to conduct a new election without opening the servers. And the order, whether the order was, which the court, if it was not violation of the court order of the Supreme Court, then Chebukati has come under what we call, what is it that we almost took the CID chief. What has he done to the court order? There's a word there which has slipped my tongue. Wesonga, what do you call that if you refuse to accept court order? There's a word that they use in law. So the court order was issued by the Supreme Court. It does defied, yes. He defied, Chebukati defied the court order. And the medium, therefore, it is an offense, first of all, punishable by law, by the laws, regulations of the Kenyan Constitution. And therefore, it means that the Supreme Court has to issue new orders of reopening of the servers, because there is nowhere where you have correctly summarized where you can put ballot papers. There are so many things involved. So for me, if I were Kenyan, I would not allow Mr. Chebukati and a group to handle my votes. That is the submission. I think we call it a day, either a day or we shall be listening in. But for now, the link can continue giving us some of the topics that I've talked about ICC, especially on the Sudan case. Production team, you have so many of them. Some of us are waiting here. When it starts, we shall watch. Then perhaps after hours and hours, I will come back. Other people can come back if they are available, but I will come back and do an analysis. I'm here watching like you are watching. I will be able to listen in and now go to my laptop to see how it goes in, because journalists, not all of them are inside. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless all of you. Good morning and good afternoon, Africa. No, good morning. Yeah, good morning. Good morning in Africa. All of us are in the morning session. So thank you. Fellow Africans, I took this petition
to the court in order to stop any future usage of falsehood and false documents, procured witnesses of the Waki Commission. I took this petition to the court 4 years ago in order to make sure that the Chief Prosecutor of International Criminal Court does not use this evidence anytime in the future, whether tomorrow or 10 years to come, to refer to this evidence because the evidence was fake. It is with this dismay and with this courage that I took to go to court in Kenya to seek a judicial review and to redeem the credibility of both those accused and the victims of this catastrophe that occurred in Kenya, that I decided to seek to expunge this report from the reports and the statute books of Kenya. It is unfortunate that the 3 judges in Kenya, whom I will name now, Judge Kanyi Kimondo, Judge Aburil, and Judge Onyengo, all of them sat down and gave very silly, flimsy, prudish, sardonic ruling against our petition. I want to tell the Kenyans that I have done my best. I want to be on record that should this thing reappear again, don't call me. Should it reappear again, don't say I never told you. Should the Chief Prosecutor of the International Criminal Court use this fake evidence again against Kenyans, don't say I did not tell you. My role was to go and remove these obnoxious toxins from the books of the Republic of Kenya. I therefore want to tell the world that my torrid road, a long road that I've taken in search for this envelope, has ended in Kenya so far. But I want to announce that Kenya is not the only state party in international law. Kenya is not the only state party. I will in the future, very soon, detail to you which other state party I'm going to seek this envelope to be expunged and to be made public to the people of the world. I want to thank you all. I want to tell you that a detailed document which is entitled My Long Road, Torrid Road to Work Envelope will be found on www.panafricanforumltd.com. You can read it, you can dissect, you can see the days, the long road, what I took, what I did, referenced, well documented, and may God help you that at one time somebody in Kenya will stand up to say thank you very much.